Ladies and gentlemen, in life, we all encounter moments that test our patience, our composure, and our very sense of dignity. One of the most challenging tests we face is when we are disrespected. In those moments, the urge to speak out, to defend ourselves, or to retaliate can feel overwhelming. But I am here to tell you that there is power, strength, and wisdom in silence. Silence is strength, not weakness. In a world where we are often taught to assert ourselves, to speak our minds, and to defend our honor at all costs, the idea of silence as a source of strength can seem counterintuitive. However, it is in the moments where we choose silence, there is strength in knowing when to hold our tongues, when to choose peace over conflict, and when to let time, not words, be the answer to the chaos around us. Silence often gets misinterpreted as passivity or submission. In a culture where people are encouraged to voice their opinions, defend their values, and stand up for themselves, staying quiet can sometimes be seen as a sign of weakness. But the truth is, silence in the face of adversity is not a surrender. It is a conscious, deliberate choice. It is the choice to remain grounded, to maintain control, and to preserve your emotional energy. In this choice, there is strength. And this strength is not just external, but internal as well. When we respond immediately to every insult or provocation, we give away our power. Each word, each retort is a moment in which we lose control over our emotions and our reactions. In contrast, silence allows us to step back, to assess the situation with clarity and rationality, and to determine how best to proceed without the rush of anger or frustration clouding our judgment. In these moments, silence is not empty. It is filled with purpose. It gives us the space to reflect, to evaluate the situation, and to make decisions with a calm mind. This level of control is not easy to attain, and it requires a great deal of inner strength. The act of remaining silent also serves as a shield. When we are disrespected, there is often a temptation to defend ourselves, to prove our worth, and to challenge the disrespect in an attempt to reassert our position. But what if the true power lies in refusing to engage? What if we don't need to prove anything to those who seek to undermine us? We demonstrate that their words or behaviors do not have the power to control our emotions or our sense of self-worth. In that silence, we become the ones in control, not them. Silence also demands respect in ways that words often cannot. People may challenge us, criticize us, or attempt to provoke a response. But when we remain silent, we send a powerful message. We are not affected by their attempts to draw us into their drama. We are above their level of communication, and we choose not to participate. In a world where everyone is constantly trying to out-talk or out-shout one another, silence stands as a bold statement of strength. It shows that we are not desperate for attention or validation. We are secure enough in ourselves to stand in quiet dignity. In addition, silence allows us to avoid unnecessary conflict. Many arguments and confrontations begin because of impulsive reactions, words spoken in the heat of the moment, or the need to defend ourselves against perceived slights. But silence provides a buffer between the initial trigger and the emotional response. It offers the opportunity to pause, to breathe, and to consider whether engaging in the conflict is worth our time and energy. By staying quiet, we can avoid saying things we might later regret and prevent ourselves from escalating a situation unnecessarily. This is where true strength lies, not in the ability to argue or to be right, but in the wisdom to know when it's best to say nothing at all. Silence, in its essence, is an act of self-control. It is easy to let emotions take over, to react with anger, frustration, or hurt when we are disrespected or challenged. But silence requires us to rise above these emotions. It forces us to look inward, to assess our own feelings, and to choose how we wish to respond, rather than being driven by instinct or external provocations. In these moments, silence becomes a tool for emotional regulation. It allows us to maintain our composure, to process our feelings internally, and to avoid being swept away by the waves of emotion that might otherwise lead us to say things we don't mean or act in ways we later regret. Furthermore, silence is an act of maturity. It is a sign that we have reached a point in our emotional development where we no longer need to prove ourselves through every interaction. It signals that we understand the value of choosing our battles wisely and that we know not everything deserves our attention. Maturity is about understanding that our response to a situation is more important than the situation itself. The ability to remain silent when provoked is a reflection of this maturity, an acknowledgement that we are secure enough in our own identity to let certain things pass without taking them personally. In a world that often celebrates loudness, power, and outward displays of strength, silence can sometimes seem like an anomaly. But in truth, silence is one of the most powerful tools we have at our disposal. It requires a deep sense of self-awareness and inner peace to choose silence over confrontation. It requires us to be so secure in who we are that the opinions and actions of others cannot easily shake us. It takes strength to stay calm when others around us are angry, upset, or trying to provoke a response. When we choose silence, we align ourselves with a deeper kind of strength. It is a strength that does not rely on external validation or the need to win every argument. It is a strength that is rooted in self-awareness, self-respect, and emotional intelligence. This kind of strength does not need to be flaunted or shown off. It is quiet, steady, and unshakable. And while silence can be a shield, it can also be a tool for reflection. In times of disrespect or conflict, it gives us the space to understand the situation more clearly. Instead of reacting impulsively, we can step back and ask ourselves what truly matters in this moment. Do we need to prove ourselves? Is this conflict worth engaging in? Will responding make us feel better, or will it only add to the negativity? Silence allows us to ask these questions without the pressure of immediate response. It allows us to be more thoughtful, more deliberate, and ultimately more in control of our reactions. Choosing silence also reflects a profound sense of inner peace. It signifies that we are not looking for external affirmation or approval. We are not defined by the opinions of others, and we do not need to engage in every battle that comes our way. This inner peace, born of silence, is not something that can be easily disrupted. It is a quiet strength that keeps us grounded no matter how loud the world around us becomes. By choosing silence, we are not admitting defeat or weakness. We are asserting our strength in a way that does not require words. The quiet is often the loudest statement we can make, for it speaks volumes about our ability to control ourselves and our emotions, to rise above the pettiness of others, and to choose peace over conflict. It is in this silence that we find our true power. Your peace is more valuable than any reaction. In the fast-paced, often chaotic world we live in, where emotions frequently run high and the pressure to react to every situation is overwhelming, the idea that peace should be prioritized over all else can feel foreign. We are conditioned to respond, to defend ourselves, to correct injustices, to argue our points, to make sure that we are heard. Yet the pursuit of inner peace demands that we resist this instinct, reminding ourselves that there is far more power in choosing serenity than in engaging with every provocation that comes our way. Every day we face moments that challenge our sense of peace. These moments can come in many forms: an argument with a colleague, a disrespectful comment from a friend, an unjust criticism from a family member, or an unexpected setback that throws our plans into disarray. The world presents us with countless opportunities to be pulled into negativity, and our natural instinct is often to react, to push back against the things that disrupt our sense of order and well-being. But what if, instead of reacting, we chose peace? What if we decided that no matter the circumstances, our inner peace was more important than any external event? When we choose to react impulsively to every situation, we give up control. We allow the actions and words of others to dictate our emotional state. In the heat of the moment, it can feel impossible to resist the pull to defend ourselves, to argue our point, to make our case. But in doing so, we sacrifice our peace. The more we react, the more we invest ourselves in the drama of the moment, and the harder it becomes to let go. The mind becomes tangled in a web of emotions, thoughts, and regrets, leaving us feeling drained, unsettled, and disconnected from the sense of calm that is essential to our well-being. Choosing peace means understanding that not every conflict deserves a response. It is a recognition that, while we may not have control over what happens around us, we do have control over how we react. When we prioritize peace, we are no longer slaves to the circumstances of our lives. Instead, we become the ones in control of our emotional responses. This is not to say that we should ignore injustice, avoid confrontation, or suppress our feelings. Rather, it means that we recognize that our emotional well-being is far more important than engaging in every battle or reacting to every slight. Peace is a state of mind that allows us to live without the constant weight of stress, anger, or anxiety. When we react to every provocation, we carry those emotions with us, letting them seep into every interaction and cloud our judgment. In contrast, when we choose peace, we free ourselves from the burden of unnecessary conflict. This peace is not just a temporary feeling, it is a deep, lasting sense of calm that permeates our thoughts and actions, helping us navigate the ups and downs of life with grace and composure. The value of peace lies not only in how it affects our mental state, but also in how it influences our relationships. When we react impulsively, we often fuel the fire of conflict. One angry comment leads to another, and before long, a small disagreement has spiraled into a full-blown argument. But when we choose peace, we break the cycle. By not engaging with negativity, we create a space for understanding, for resolution, and for harmony. People are drawn to those who maintain their composure, who respond thoughtfully rather than reactively. In choosing peace, we set the tone for how others treat us and interact with us. Moreover, peace allows us to approach difficult situations with clarity and wisdom. When we are caught up in emotional reactions, our judgment is clouded and we may make decisions we later regret. Choosing peace, on the other hand, gives us the space to pause, reflect, and respond with a clear mind. This kind of measured response is not only more effective, but also more empowering. It demonstrates that we are not ruled by our emotions, but that we are capable of seeing the bigger picture, understanding our own needs, and acting in alignment with our values. In a world where everything seems to move at a rapid pace, where there is always something to argue about, something to fix, something to challenge, it is easy to forget the value of peace. We become so accustomed to the noise, the chaos, and the drama that we start to believe that peace is a luxury, something that is nice to have but not essential. But peace is not a luxury. It is a necessity. It is the foundation upon which we build our emotional health, our relationships, and our capacity for growth. In choosing peace, we also choose to protect ourselves from the negativity that often surrounds us. The world can be full of criticism, judgment, and negativity, and it is easy to get swept up in the emotional currents that others create. But when we prioritize peace, we set boundaries that protect us from being pulled into this toxic energy. We learn to detach ourselves from the judgments and opinions of others, to let go of the need to prove ourselves, and to stop internalizing the hurtful things that are said or done to us. Peace is also a reflection of self-respect. When we choose peace, we acknowledge that we are worth more than the conflicts and distractions that seek to pull us away from our sense of well-being. It is an act of self-care to step back from situations that disrupt our peace. By not engaging in every argument or responding to every slight, we honor our own emotional needs and show ourselves the respect we deserve. This is not about avoiding conflict or pretending that everything is perfect. It is about recognizing that we have the power to choose how we engage with the world, and that our peace is more valuable than any reaction, no matter how justified it may seem in the moment. Choosing peace also allows us to embrace a sense of gratitude and presence. When we are constantly reacting to external events, we are often living in a state of stress, worry, or frustration. We are unable to fully appreciate the moments of calm, the beauty of the present, and the joy that can be found in the simplest of experiences. But when we choose peace, we are able to slow down, to be present in the moment, and to appreciate the things that truly matter. We open ourselves up to the possibility of living a life that is more centered, more intentional, and more fulfilling. The pursuit of peace is a lifelong journey, one that requires constant practice and awareness. It is not something that comes easily, especially when we are faced with situations that challenge our sense of security or dignity. But the more we choose peace, the easier it becomes. Each time we resist the urge to react impulsively, each time we prioritize our emotional well-being over the need to be right, we strengthen our ability to maintain our peace. This inner calm becomes our greatest asset, helping us navigate life's challenges with resilience, clarity, and grace. Your peace is more valuable than any reaction. It is the one thing that once lost is difficult to regain. In a world full of distractions, conflicts, and emotional turbulence, it is essential that we protect our peace and prioritize it above all else. The power to choose peace is the power to control your own destiny, to live in harmony with yourself and the world around you, and to find strength in the quiet moments of life. In conclusion, the power of silence and peace cannot be overstated. Both are essential qualities that allow us to live with strength, clarity, and emotional resilience. When faced with disrespect, negativity, or provocation, the natural impulse is often to react, to defend ourselves, to make a point, to stand up for what we believe is right. In many ways, this response feels like an instinctual action, one driven by our desire to protect our dignity and self-worth. However, as we have explored throughout this speech, true strength often lies not in the ability to react, but in the wisdom to remain silent, to choose peace, and to protect our inner tranquility above all else. Silence, in moments of adversity, becomes a shield, a means of protecting ourselves from the emotional turbulence that others may try to impose on us. It is not a sign of weakness or submission, but a deliberate choice to rise above the negativity and maintain control over our emotional state. When we choose silence, we disempower the external forces that seek to provoke us, and instead we reclaim our power. We assert that our peace is more valuable than any external validation or confrontation. In the face of disrespect, silence allows us to stand tall in our own dignity, refusing to allow anyone or anything to disturb our inner peace. Choosing silence does not mean ignoring problems or allowing injustice to go unchecked. Rather, it means responding with discernment and wisdom, knowing that not every battle needs to be fought and not every insult deserves a reaction. The true strength lies in understanding when to speak and when to remain quiet. In this choice, there is clarity, purpose, and the ability to move through life with grace, avoiding unnecessary conflict and emotional turmoil. Silence allows us to preserve our emotional energy, to reflect on our feelings and responses before reacting, and to decide what truly matters in each moment. Similarly, the decision to prioritize peace over reaction transforms our approach to life's challenges. Life will inevitably present us with moments of difficulty. Moments where we feel misunderstood, disrespected, or wronged. In these moments, it is all too easy to allow our emotions to take control, to react impulsively and engage in a cycle of conflict and stress. But when we make the conscious decision to prioritize our peace, we take back control over our emotional landscape. We become the masters of our responses, choosing serenity and emotional balance over chaos and distress. By choosing peace, we also protect ourselves from the negative impact that conflict can have on our mental and physical health. Every argument, every heated exchange adds layers of stress to our lives. It chips away at our sense of calm, leaving us feeling drained, frustrated, and disconnected from the peaceful state we crave. Yet, when we prioritize peace, we let go of the need to prove ourselves, to engage in every conflict, and to seek validation through external argument. Instead, we focus on cultivating a sense of inner tranquility, one that allows us to navigate life's ups and downs with grace and poise. When we learn to value our peace, we also learn to respect ourselves. The act of choosing peace is an act of self-care, one that demonstrates our understanding that our emotional well-being is the foundation of our happiness and success. By setting boundaries, by knowing when to speak and when to remain silent, we demonstrate to ourselves that we are worthy of tranquility and emotional security. We are not at the mercy of the external world. We are in control of our emotional environment. And this realization brings with it a profound sense of empowerment. Furthermore, as we begin to prioritize peace, we create a ripple effect in our relationships with others. People are naturally drawn to those who remain calm, composed, and centered, even in the face of adversity. By choosing silence over retaliation, we not only protect our own peace, but also set an example for others. We show them that there is a more constructive way to handle conflict by maintaining emotional composure and responding thoughtfully rather than reacting impulsively. This can foster a culture of mutual respect, understanding, and emotional maturity in our relationships, whether personal or professional. The ability to choose silence and peace is not a trait that comes naturally to everyone. It is something that we must consciously cultivate through practice, self-awareness, and a commitment to emotional growth. But the more we make this choice, the easier it becomes. Over time, the ability to remain silent in the face of disrespect or to choose peace over conflict becomes second nature. It becomes an inherent part of who we are, one that helps us navigate the complexities of life with resilience, composure, and grace. As we move through life, we will undoubtedly face moments of challenge and conflict, but the choice remains ours. Will we engage in every dispute, or will we find the strength to remain silent and protect our peace? Will we allow others to disrupt our emotional equilibrium, or will we prioritize our inner serenity above all else? The more we choose peace, the more we realize that it is not a passive state, but an active and powerful form of self-empowerment. And it is a choice that comes from a place of strength, wisdom, and self-respect. In choosing peace, we choose to protect the most precious part of ourselves, our emotional and mental well-being. We choose to honor our need for tranquility in a world that often seeks to disrupt it. And in doing so, we open the door to greater fulfillment, deeper relationships, and a sense of calm that will guide us through life's challenges. The pursuit of peace is not a one-time decision, but an ongoing journey, one that requires patience, practice, and commitment. But with each choice we make to prioritize silence and peace, we grow stronger, more resilient, and more centered in our true selves. Ultimately, the value of silence and peace cannot be measured by any external standards. They are not things that can be quantified or easily defined. They are personal, internal states of being that are essential to our overall well-being. The more we choose silence in the face of disrespect and peace in the face of conflict, the more we cultivate a life that is grounded, centered, and filled with emotional strength. Our reactions no longer define us. Instead, our peace becomes the foundation upon which we build our lives, our relationships, and our future. It is the one thing that cannot be taken away from us unless we allow it. And by holding on to our peace, we reclaim our power, our freedom, and our sense of self in an increasingly chaotic world.